What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at the 2024 Honda Civic Type-R. This one's finished in championship white with an MSRP at $46,500. Now this car is my Civic Type-R. I literally just traded in my manual MK5 Toyota Supra for this Honda Civic. Check out that video if you missed it in the description below. And if you do own the FL5 or the FK8 Civic Type-R, take a look at our website linked down below because we are carrying quite a few awesome performance upgrades for these Type-Rs, so check that out as well. But with that said, let's do a full review on the newest Type-R, see what this car has to offer. Underneath the hood of the newest 2024 Honda Civic Type-R, you're going to find the 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It pumps out 315 horsepower with 310 pound-feet of torque, paired to a front-wheel drive system with a limited slip differential. Has a 6-speed manual transmission. 0 to 60 is around 5.3 seconds. Quarter mile time is 13.9 seconds at 104.2 miles per hour, topping out around 170 miles per hour. And then it runs on a 12.4 gallon fuel tank, so you're looking at 22 miles per gallon in the city with 28 out on the highway, and curb weight is just under 3,200 pounds. The overall length is 180.9 inches with the wheelbase at 107.7. Width is 74.4, height is 55.4, and ground clearance is 4.8 inches. You're also going to get a 4-piston Brembo brake caliper up front with a 2-piece rotor, and this has a dual-axis McPherson front suspension with active dampers all around. Moving on to the styling with the 2024 Honda Civic Type-R, this is a super sporty looking hot hatch. I love the wider body appearance and all the gloss blacks, really comes together well. You got a nice set of LED headlights, and you can see how they're blacked out with the housing. Connects very nicely to the upper grille, all finished in gloss black. You also got that red Honda logo, huge openings for all the mesh to provide cooling to the radiators. Got your Type-R badge as well, and then a really bold appearance to all the bodywork. You can also see more trim all throughout the front, an aggressive front splitter, finished in more of the black, and then a massive opening down below to provide cooling to that intercooler. This has a super bold appearance, and I love how the front bumper flows into the front fenders just to give it that super wide appearance. Directly head on, this is a really sweet looking car, and you can get a good glimpse of the heat extraction vent up in the hood. It is functional. You got some sharp body lines throughout the hood, just giving it that performance car look. And then as you make your way to the side profile, has a really stylish appearance. You got these nice 19-inch wheels with 265 wide tires all around, finished in a flat black with the red Honda badge right in the center. Sharp body lines throughout the front, and then a nice trim piece behind it to allow some pressurized air out. Then you got a pretty aggressive side skirt with some more gloss black. This has body color for the door handles, gloss black mirror caps, and then all black trim surrounding the windows. The Civic Type-R is based off of the hatchback Civic, so you have a really nice sloping rear end, great proportions all around, good side profile. I like the prominent sharp body line throughout the side and how the windows cut towards the rear. Has a super nice design as well. And then on the lift back, you're going to see this massive rear wing finished in gloss black, has some matte black for the supports, super big. Then you can see a nice look at the red LED taillights. I do like how they have a connecting bar just to give it a modern appearance. Got your Type-R badge on the right, Civic over on the left, and then down below you get a massive black diffuser with a super unique exhaust. You got 3 exhaust tips right in the center, giving it a pretty unique design, and then more trim on the far sides with a reflector. And overall, this car really comes together. It kind of has that rally-inspired design and definitely has a sporty look in every single angle. Moving on to the key fob, we get lock, unlock, and trunk release. If I go ahead and lock the car, you can just grab the handle. It's going to automatically unlock, and we can take a look at the interior. The Type-R has a super cool looking interior with a lot of red accents. Door panels finished off in black. You have some soft touch material up here, a nice trim piece with an illuminated part that'll light up red. Then you have this black micro suede padding on the armrest and your grab handle, and then all the window and mirror controls. Nice design for the release handle, extra storage, and then these are all manual controls with them on the side. You have massive bolsters on this car. I love the red material. You can see all the perforations to it. Super comfortable, super supportive. And then for the backrest, you get more of that perforated design all throughout it. Just huge bolsters all around. Cutouts in back, and you can even see Type-R up on the headrest. Definitely a very sporty interior. All-weather floor mats, red carpeting, as well as the sport pedals. And then a nice looking black leather wrapped steering wheel with your red Honda badge, red stitching, and some dark trim. And then now inside the Civic Type-R, keep my foot on the clutch, we can go ahead and fire it up. Taking a look at the gauge cluster, which is a really nice LCD screen, you can see some information on the left side that you can scroll through using the steering wheel controls. So pretty nice design right there. And then on the right side, you can see the speedometer along with a digital readout, but then you can continuing scrolling and see all sorts of info, even a boost gauge, which is super cool. So a very nice display overall. You can see those shift lights up above. And then when you play with your drive modes down here, you can toggle that into sport mode. You even have an individual mode where you're able to adjust quite a lot. So if I go into customize, you can really mix and match how you want the suspension, the engine to sound, everything like that. You have basically 3 modes for everything, which is a really cool design. And then a nice touch, if you go into the R mode, you get a really cool gauge cluster with a massive tach. You can see some vitals down below, and you can still scroll through these bottom screen. So I think Honda really did a cool job on these gauges. At the steering wheel now, you can see those controls on the left side along with some Bluetooth and audio. We have cruise control on the right, distance pacing along with your steering intervention. And then on the right stalk, we have all the windshield wiper controls, headlights and turn signals on the left. Down below all that, we have one of your air vents, interior dimming, a safety sensor icon right here that can come up on the screen. And then you also have traction control. You're gonna get some soft touch material for the dashboard, has a nice design to it. And then I really like the air vents. Once again, you got that cool mesh design all around it. You got a Type-R badge as well. And then moving to the infotainment screen, this is really cool design with a special screen for all the Type-R stuff. So you have a G meter, you have more information like that, and you can get into all sorts of temperatures, pressures, and all the vitals you're gonna want. You still have the typical Honda stuff, so when you hit home, you have all this information, Apple CarPlay, Sirius, all these settings, different things like that. So basically your typical Honda screen with the addition to the Type-R. For the backup camera, popping it into reverse, you have a pretty good HD view with this nice 9-inch screen. Then you have a few different views you're able to play with as well, which is a cool touch to see. Underneath all that, you have physical climate controls. We got your fan speed right in the center, and then you can see dual zone temperature as well, different zones, all your heaters, defrosters, air conditioning, and then down below we have a few extra plugs. This has a wireless phone charging, gorgeous design for the silver aluminum shift knob, and then the black leather shift boot. All those drive mode controls, electronic park and brake and brake hold, and then this plastic trim down below. You got some storage and cup holders in the center, more of this black micro suede, and then just a little bit of storage down below. For the glove box, you can open that up. Got a pretty good box in here. And then one last look at the interior. I like the updated Civic. I think they've done a really good job making it more classy and sporty at the same time. And then these bucket seats are definitely a huge seller for this car. Got all the red seat belts as well. Black on the headliner, just some dome lights up above, and then a simple mirror. Moving on to the rear seat space for the Type-R. If I open up the door panel is finished off very similar to the front. You even have the nice black micro suede and red stitching. These seats are just black fabric with red stitching, and then this is a 2-seater bench back here. There's going to be extra cup holders right in the center. No real amenities like storage or air vents or anything like that. But from back here, you can grab these levers and pull the seats down, and they're going to fold nice and flat for extra cargo and space into the trunk. So hopping into the back seat with the Civic Type-R. At 5'11", honestly, this is a really roomy car. With the driver's seat at my height, I have plenty of knee room as well as foot room, and then so much headroom. It says Type-R, which is a pretty cool touch on the backrest. But honestly, for even like a family car, this seems pretty roomy. Good armrests, decent amount of visibility around here. Again, no air vents or the armrest, but nonetheless, for a compact sporty car, pretty decent back seat. Moving on to the trunk space, there also is a button right underneath the logo, and you can manually lift open this hatchback. Now back here, got a nice all-weather floor mat with Type-R written out. This has a lot of space. Super low load floor, obviously being front-wheel drive. There's no drivetrain components underneath. Underneath all of this, there will be a tire inflator as well as your tow hook and things like that. Now we have a pretty nice privacy cover. This is also removable as well. You just unlock it and you can pull it back. And then from back here, you can easily reach these levers and get these seats out of the way. So honestly, this is a pretty practical car. We do have dome lights as well as speakers, and you can fit 2 bicycles or quite a few golf bags in the back. So Civic Type-R, not only is it a fun hot hatch, this thing is incredibly practical. You also got 2 grab handles up above, and we can close it down. All right, so setting off now. So in the R mode, this car really tightens up. The suspension is super stiff, the steering is super stiff, the rev lights, the gauge cluster. This thing is pretty exciting when it's in the crazy full R mode. The shifter is a joy to go through the gears. It's really direct, super notchy. Honestly, the handling in this car is really good too. The steering is ultra precise. Really don't have any crazy shortcomings. We go into comfort mode. You can tell the car tones down, the suspension's a little more forgiving. Steering is a lot more lazy as well. So I like how, you wouldn't expect a Honda Civic to have these types of drive modes that are in much more expensive cars. And yet here we are in this Type-R. It's able to do quite a lot that a lot more expensive cars have. So I wasn't really expecting all that fun factor. Turning circle is pretty decent. For front wheel drive, you would think it'd be a tad better, but nonetheless, you can pretty much make any turn. But not bad for like normal driving too. So it's a very usable car, has a lot going for it to be a daily driver. And obviously this car is probably most people's daily driver. So it feels like it has those characteristics. Not a bad engine sound to it. Clutch is also super light as well. So it's generally an easy car to just live with on the day-to-day. These seats for me are ultra comfortable. I fit so well in them. I literally just fit like a glove. Good view out of the car, being a hatchback. I mean, you have so much visibility in this car. I mean, it's super, super livable. So I really like the characteristics I'm already finding with this car. If we go right back into the R mode, you can instantly tell that suspension is much stiffer now, and the car just kind of tightens up and is ready to be thrown around. Now, given this has front wheel drive but a limited slip differential, this is the one car that is front wheel drive that I actually can't hardly tell it's front wheel drive. Now, in the normal drive mode, you can feel some torque steer, you can feel a little bit of that, but once you're in the R mode, you really kind of forget that this is just front wheel drive. It kind of does such a good job managing the torque and managing all the power. It's a fun car. Road noise, there's not really much highway noise or wind noise or things like that. So it does a really good job being somewhat of a upscale car. It's certainly not crazy high end, but it doesn't feel like a cheap car at all. You can tell there's the fake engine sounds when you're in the R mode, which sounds good, but obviously it's a little on the fake side. This thing rockets. This is actually really quick. Handling is phenomenal. Wow, it is so flat. Man, this honestly, I want to do some mountain trips and autocrosses with this. This car just tackles turns so incredibly well. And it's quick enough to where it pulls. It's not a slow car, but it's not that crazy that we're going to be hitting 100. But you are able to rip it in this car. This thing is pretty darn quick. So far, I'm really enjoying driving in this car. I don't really have any driver complaints as of right now. So my honest thoughts now, my perspective with the Honda Civic Type-R. So like I mentioned, this is my car. I literally just bought this, trading the Mark V manual Supra for this. Now, while this technically is a downgrade in car, not quite as luxury feeling, not quite as fast, obviously front wheel drive, but for the practicality you get and the fun factor, I feel like this is a really good blend, especially for 45 grand. It's about what I paid for this car. Actually got this for under its original MSRP. So I got a pretty good deal on that. Check out the full video of me buying this if you want more info on that. This car definitely going slow over the train tracks. You can tell the way they've designed this, it is so tightly put together. This is a performance car first. While it might be based on the most basic economy car known to man, the Honda Civic, great car, of course. It's a really solid economy car, has a lot going for it. But the fact that Honda could take a very generic economy car and turn it into a true performance car has always kind of blown my mind. I'm not the biggest fan of front wheel drive. I'm not the biggest fan of Hondas, quite honestly. But when I drove the first generation Type-R, I was thoroughly impressed. Wasn't too keen on the styling. Felt a little juvenile with a body kit. I was a little aggressive for not being that crazy of a car. this new generation I think looks fantastic. It's a much more grown-up version. It's evolved very well. It's very mature looking, super clean lines inside now, but you still get the extra fun with the crazy seats and all the extra performance. Comfort mode is quite nice, like literally kind of a normal daily driver with a fun extra aspect to it, so I like that aspect. I don't like boring cars. This though, and in R mode, it so wakes up. The steering and suspension are so drastically different. And then when you start playing with the higher revs and driving this aggressively, it starts to show you what it's made out of. Really linear power delivery. The brakes do a great job. Wow. It is truly a joy to just rip through turns. It handles so well. And given its front wheel drive, the front carries you around the turn. This is one of the most fun cars I think I've driven. And at the mid $40,000 mark, I think this is probably the most fun car for 45 grand, especially if you want a stick shift. Man, so I've been enjoying it. I got a couple hundred miles under my belt so far, just a few days now owning this car. But I also like the normal stuff. You know, you have the CarPlay, the nav, all your basic things you would want in a modern car, but the fact that it has such a fun factor to me is just awesome. Now these seats are amazing. When I had my 2016 Nismo 370Z, had Recaro bucket seats, I loved those seats. Just something about a bucket seat, they fit me so well. When I'm sitting in this car, it's so supportive, so comfortable. I think I could drive this car for hours and hours and not get sore. It is just that comfortable. The drive modes, I like how they're all very different too. So there's some cars out there where a sport mode really doesn't do much. This changes it so much to where this is a car that would be so at home on a racetrack. Man, I've definitely been enjoying it. And then as far as the performance, while it might not be as fast as the Supra was, it is not slow. I was over 60. I mean, it's not bad, especially for a manual. You're going to get those interruptions in the shifting, but it doesn't feel slow at all, even from any speed. 4,000 RPM, not bad at all. There's tuning, mods, and stuff. I'll be playing with this car quite a lot to upgrade it, but out of the gate, this is one heck of a toy. If you truly want something ultra fun, but also incredibly practical and very livable, I think this Type-R is something. So I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. We'll see how long I own it. 6 months to a year, we'll see. I got other plans in my life that we're working on, so we'll see how long this car sticks around. But I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So that is it for my kind of first initial review of the 2024 Honda Civic Type-R. I think the new one is just great. It's just a really cool car, well priced. It's basically average in price and very well above average in fun. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for plenty more content to come, and I'll see you all in the next video.